afternoon. So welcome everybody to the 2021 Master Series for the Higher Institutions Football League. And we're going to go straight into the discussion for today. We are considering the topic for the Master Series today. And the topic we're going to be talking about is the role of sports for social change and youth empowerment. And the facilitator that's going to be taking us through this series is a seasoned sports facilitator. He's a journalist, and of course, most importantly, currently he's one of the people who is making sure sports transmission is actually uninterrupted and at the best levels across Africa. He's the person of Mr. Felix Awogu. He's the executive head of MultiChoice Nigeria, and he has been working with the sports broadcasting giants for a very long time to ensure that sports is actually where it is in Africa. So it's my pleasure to, on behalf of Nigerian youths and the Higher Institutions Football League, welcome Mr. Felix Awogu to the 2021 HiFL Master Series. You're very welcome, sir.
It's a great pleasure, Michael, and quite excited that a student leading this battle, leading this interview. I'm quite excited, and I'm happy you are doing great. And these are some of the legacies I think HiFL is leaving, a major footprint in Nigerian sports and television arena. Thank you, Mike.
Okay, that's very interesting to know, sir. I think a lot of young people in Nigeria would agree with you. Just to give a little recap, we know that the Higher Institutions Football League has been a collegiate sports competition that has taken place for the last 2 seasons across Nigerian universities. And the HiFL Master Series is a platform that brings forward sequence of online sessions, just like the one we're having today, to empower critical HiFL stakeholders, that is sports and non-sports enthusiasts, by engaging experts in various fields of pertinent issues that affect them. And when we actually have those discussions, we bring to bear how sports is actually going to be able to contribute to various aspects of the development and growth of the individuals that these facilitators interface. So in the course of the program, the facilitator will be engaging us on the topic for today, which has already been made available: sports as a tool for social change and youth empowerment. And we'll be receiving questions in the course of the discussion from participants who are currently part of this master series from across the country. And these questions will be related with at various levels. The experience of the facilitator, Mr. Felix Awogu, will be brought to bear on how these questions will be answered. And I believe that it's going to actually be an exciting session. So we're going to be having this discussion for about 50 minutes or about an hour, and we would keep to time. And of course, we expect that's going to be an engaging opportunity and an interesting one too, where all of us are going to learn and have a good cause to even join some of the other series we have after this. So I want to welcome all of us again to this series. So at this point, I'll give our facilitator an opportunity to say 1 or 2 things to our participants who are joining from across the country. Probably make a proper introduction of himself and, of course, his initial thoughts on the topic.
Thank you very much, Michael. To be very honest, I don't think we've done justice to sports in this country, especially us in Nigeria. Okay. We have almost 60% of our population in the youth category. Excited HiFL, in spite of all the crisis in the university sector, issues of cultism, there's issues of crime and what have you. They came in as a bridge builder, getting our students, our young ones participating in sport, especially in the universities. These are the intellectual powerhouse of the future of Nigeria. And for years, nobody thought of it, nobody did anything. So the partnership with Nuga, to me, is an excellent one. And some of us are excited because education is not just about academics, it's also about physical conditioning, which also helps your mental state. If you look at it, if you look at the Nigerian political and international political arena, what do you remember for Nigeria? Remember Nigeria for? It's sports. Elsin Okocha, Kanu Nwankwo, Kagbares, Akim Olajuwon. Those are the positive things. And I'm shocked that Nigeria has not harnessed this quite enough. But I'm happy with what HiFL is doing. The government is, I'm sure, definitely aware of the impact of what it has done. I've had inquiries from South Africa and the rest of other countries saying, hey, how can we join hands with HiFL? How can we do intercollegiate soccer competitions amongst university schools in Nigeria and South Africa? So it's a great opportunity. And who says a player from a Nigerian university cannot make it in the international circuit? These are some of the things, because really, if you look at education, it's fantastic. But really, what is the future of the workplace? How many work will be available in the next 20, 30 years for people who have read arts or what have you? And so the world is becoming tighter and tighter and tighter. And so this is a great opportunity. And then when you're talking about sport, it's not just about playing, it's becoming a coach, becoming a physio. There's so many ambience around sports. And I'm happy that HiFL is capturing this, giving people, even if you didn't make it as a footballer, you can become a coach, you can become a sports physician, you can become a sports psychologist. These are some of the areas I think we should look at and look at the full benefits, how it will impact positively to the younger generation.
Okay, very interesting. Very interesting. Thanks for sharing your thoughts on what the state of sports is in Nigeria and of course across the continent in Africa. And I think there's one thing we actually saw when we were also trying to profile you, and that is that you recently published a book. And that was a book that tried to look at the history of sports, not just in Nigeria, but of course, how it has also affected the way sports has grown in Africa and even beyond. And the title of that book is Fingers Through a Goalpost. And looking at the review and some of the comments you're already making, I believe that the thoughts or the reasons why you actually decided to write this book are even becoming more obvious. So Nigerian youths, particularly youths in Nigerian universities, are actually very excited about HiFL. They're excited about collegiate sports and the opportunities that it is bringing to them on their campuses. So we want to know, sir, from your own experience, having been in the sports sector and interacted at various levels from your profile, what can you really say are the structures in place that can actually be able to help university students or young people in Nigeria generally, regardless of whether they are even involved in academics in universities, to be able to harness the opportunities that exist and then make it to the very highest levels professionally in sports?
To be honest, I think we also need to retune our educational system. It is not just all about cramming and pouring out. I think the way education is structured, even globally, it does not benefit humanity in the long run. It's not all about, otherwise, what's the essence of hiring somebody who has just come with a first class? It doesn't make sense if I can go to my computer and get all the information I need. So why do I need somebody who has crammed, passed an exam to work for me? So life is changing and it's changing continually. So what can you do with the experiences of life? So it's taking you out of the citadel. You are interfacing with a lot of people when you go and compete in HiFL. Your boundaries, it's about human capital. It's about building connections, building relationship, which I tell you is something you cannot just get if you sit down in one place, just cramming those things and passing. So the opportunities it's actually massive. Now I'm watching you present. This is a great opportunity. Tomorrow I may need a presenter and I say, hey, why don't we have a looking at this guy? So these are some of the opportunities, the interfaces, the whole horizon, the travel experience. That's what education is all about. Over the years, the last 800 years, education has been defined limiting to books, cramming, and pouring out, not necessarily application. So when we begin to interface with sports and other things, and of course, I was reading in the news, there is a volleyball competition somewhere in the Southeast involving 2 schools. This is a rupture from HiFL. So people are now beginning to think, who were not thinking before, that, hey, how do we engage our youth? Why are we having so much crisis around in the country? Why are we celebrating criminality? Why can't the best footballer in your university have the best chick on campus? Values has changed. Because, it is in Ife. When we go in there, the sportsmen are the ones that has all the best, the loveliest girls in town. Not necessarily 419, not people who are doing negative things, who are putting our nation in the wrong sphere. So I'm excited with opportunities like this. Of course, you talked about my book, fine. It's from my own perception, talking about global sport. It's not necessarily about me. It's about my experience over the years, the drug situation in sports and what have you. How do we, from an African perspective, how do we say it? What are the errors? What have we not done right? And what are we doing right? Somebody goes, he drinks agbo, and he goes to play. Nobody understands what are the ingredients in the agbo, what are the banned substances. So there's a lot of education to be done. And I'm excited that we're getting there. It's like I keep saying, it is not only about government doing it, but I also believe government should support initiatives like this. If you invest well in sports, you save in health, and you improve the overall performance of those students who are actively involved in sports. It actually reshapes your mental state and your focus generally. So it's a great fit. It's a win-win situation if you have children, if you have students participating in sports and also doing the academics. But I think the university system, through the NUC, need to restructure and say, okay, if I have a talented young man in the university, how do I marry his academics and his sports performance? These are some of the things we should be looking at. It is not just about graduating. A lot of people have graduated, there's no job. I know a few Nigerian graduates who later became superstars who played for the national team. Shey Yolof Njano, for instance. So who says a player from the HiFL cannot make it? Last year, one of the players also joined the Kano Pillars. Rangers is also interested in a couple of players. These are great opportunities. Life is a changing scenario, and we need to really follow it.
Oh, yes. Of course, the player that joined Kano Pillars after the first season is actually Odenibo Ebuka. He came from a campus where I actually had the privilege of schooling, and HiFL was the platform. Really? HiFL was the opportunity he got to actually be where he is today, and I'm sure his success story is actually changing the thinking of a lot of young people, particularly those who are involved with sports across the country. And just like you said, HiFL is not just building talents of those people who are directly involved in sports. It's also helping people who are non-sports enthusiasts. Particularly, a very good example is somebody like me who's presenting here today because of the platform. We have thousands of volunteers, over 4,000 volunteers across universities who are taught to engage sports activities at various levels. Jobs are being created directly and indirectly, and there are a lot of lives that are changing. And of course, we hope that with partnerships like the ones the platform is having with people like you who have had the experience and who have the passion to change the narrative of Nigerian sports and what it can do for this country, particularly with respect to positive social change and empowerment, I'm sure that the journey is going to be very fruitful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with you. It's beyond, I keep telling people when HiFL gives you the opportunity, it's up to you to grab it. You take it to the next level. And tomorrow I'll say, oh, this is an HiFL ambassador. I want to see more ambassadors because if it impacted your life, impact in the younger one's life, encourage people in your neighborhood, let them also grow, understand that, hey, your health is bigger than any wealth you can imagine. So participate in sports, read your books, have a positive attitude about life. To me, that is the greatest social change HiFL is going to give to Nigerians.
Okay, and also to dwell on visibility of sports, which is one of the things you addressed in your book. The Super Sport has actually played a major role in ensuring that everything that happens in sports, especially across the African continent, is visible for all Africans and even the rest of the globe to see and know. And Super Sport was able to cover the last 4 games of the High Institutions Football League, which is the third place games, and of course the final games, which were all played in Lagos. And these were some of the games that gave some of these players that have gotten sign-ups with big clubs and have gotten huge opportunities, the platform. So what can you say about what more of this partnership would do for sports visibility at collegiate level moving forward?
Well, to be honest, I want to see a lot of competition in the institutions themselves. I know the HiFL gives you a bigger platform, but what is happening in the institution? Do they have inter-hall competitions? Do they have interdepartmental competition? Do they have friendlies? Because selection processes go a long way in getting the best out of those schools and also making it available to Nigerians who can now look at it and tap into. To be honest, I'm not one of those excited about mechanics playing only in our national team who may not be able to sign their names. Yeah. I want Nigerians who have gotten level of education, who can actually get in there, negotiate a proper contract on their behalf if they so wish, and know the nitty-gritties, what is embedded in those corners, who can read and write. So we'll stop the era of slavish contracts, which our players have been signing in Sudan and the rest of the place. I'm sure no university student or a student in the university will do that. And then there's also another opportunity. If you're doing sports, American universities are looking for sportsmen. You can transfer. I'm not saying we should be leaving the Nigerian system, but it's a great opportunity because if you leave, another person gets the chance to fill in your space. So it's a circle. We need to encourage it, and there must be a fair process in selecting. And I hope one day we'll have the HiFL All-Stars who can go and represent Nigeria in some university games. Because if it happens, believe me, the world, the skies it's the limit for any of those kids that will be going there. So we need to re-engineer the system. We need to make it work. And we need to be sure it's a very fair system. Because in the last 20 years, the middle class has lost the opportunity, even if their children are talented, from representing or playing sports. And you know why? Most private schools don't care about facilities for sports. They leave the nursery school, they go to the primary school, even if they are talented. They are left out. For the kids of the poor, in quotes, sorry, it's not looking down at the poor, are those that actually run around the streets and play. So we have deliberately and unfairly cut off the children of the rich and the middle class who have talent in sports. So the university may be an opportunity to finally give them a chance if they really have to express themselves to make an impact in sports.
Okay, yeah, I think that's actually very true. That's actually very true because I think a lot of African players have had their unfair issues with what has happened to them even playing across Europe because they didn't have enough education and they actually got into sports. And so the university system is actually a very veritable platform. And I think most of the coaches and some of even the big team players who are actually part of this master series will find that very eventful as sports is now beginning to actually have its own level of evangelism where people are actually being, educated and encouraged to be involved in sports at various levels. And of course, they are thinking professional now. It's not just playing in the games for recreation. So as a sports enthusiast for yourself, having gone through the ropes, represented Nigeria on various boards, being recommended to do a lot of things just because the country believes that you have the experience that will bring to bear the revolution that we need in sports. How can you be able to advise other people who actually want to toe your line in terms of maybe not playing the game, but being able to support in terms of broadcasting, in terms of journalism, because we discovered that sports is beyond just actually those who play on the pitch. It's actually a circle, and there are a lot of people who play a part, the coaches, the fans, the journalists and all. And in Nigeria, it seems like sports journalism has been a bit of a messy game.
Well, it's let me use the word. These things are relative. It's beautiful, like I said, to be in this field First of all, it gives you fame. The era of social media has actually given the medium, the journalists, a greater opportunity because you can now become a blogger. You can have a lot of followership, and it's actually great. And then I saw somebody, a medical person, how do they participate? The medicine has changed. There are a lot of doctors working for sportsmen. There are sportsmen, there are physios, there are sports lawyers, there are sports psychologists. So it's actually a whole web. So you must know where you fit in. You know where your talent goes. And then there are commentators. I must tell you today, big commentators earn as much as $200,000-$300,000 a year if you're very good. So there's a lot of opportunity for you who have gone to school, who has followed the game and learned one or two things. You just need to explode. So for other kids or students or ladies, there are a lot of opportunities. Remember the Chelsea physio was a lady, and she has become very famous for her job and what she has done. And I'm happy HiFL is also looking at the female folks, because my problem, and one of what I say is why the Nigerian female football is not selling, is because of the characters that have been participating. If we can see university students coming, the female players come in and play in the female version, and we tap in 2-3. The attitude of Nigeria, because I want to see a female team. I don't want to see all the ladies looking like men. I want to see a woman who makes her hair, proud to be a woman, playing feminine football, and that would attract me to come and watch. But currently, all our players in the female national team want to be men. And so if they all want to be men, why don't you go to a half man? I'd rather go and watch a male team. I want ladies that can do their makeup, look as pretty as they are, proud of being women, come to play. Then I want to come and watch female football. So it's been a hard sell for Nigerian Football Federation to sell our female football. So if we see the university students who have already enough good personality, who have enough self-confidence, that they don't have to be a guy to play football. They can be as pretty, as feminine as they want to be, and still play football. That would be exciting. That would become a major revolution and a tilt in the way our football is seen, especially female.
Exciting people.
It's a great one also. It will be a great one to see a lot of students, mature, looking healthy, not just about hanging out and doing this and that. Come out to play. See great defenders, people who use their head on the field of play. These are some of the things I think the university system to bear on our football environment.
Okay, so just a bit of encouragement, to some of the universities or some of the institutions who are yet to actually understand the role of sports in terms of youth empowerment, and of course in terms of what it can do to influence social change. Because you see the way tertiary institutions in Nigeria are actually built. You have students coming from every nook and cranny of the country, particularly in the public schools. There's a quota system that allows that to actually happen. So it now means whatever happens on the university campuses or the tertiary institutions campuses filters back into the society. So just with the surging challenge of kidnappings and all of the social vices and all the challenges we are having, what can you really say to some of these schools who still look at sports as an area where they shouldn't really invest a lot of resources to actually get the students really involved?
Well, it's unfortunate with the way we have looked at sports over the years, and I was surprised that we've not captured the value of sports enough in our socio-economic environment. To be honest, if you look at the contribution, when Nigerian national team is playing, there are no crime, there's no traffic. Stress reduces by almost 50%. Then you begin to quantify the indirect value sports actually gives.
Absolutely.
You watch HiFL matches on TV, all the students who probably will be drinking or doing something are all glued to their TV watching. These are massive values. We are not quantifying the eyeballs that have seated and watched. Some years ago, I ran into some criminals They were beating everybody, hitting. And then I was driving. I thought, oh, what? I thought they were policemen. I said, I'm going to call the CP and report. This is not right. And then I realized they were armed robbers. And you know what saved me? One of them looked, oh, it's Felix. I doesn't have money. Please. You will find that these guys you call criminal follow sports.
Yes.
And if you develop it in a way that is ideal, people will start buying it. It could be a product today. Tomorrow, it will become a major franchise. In the US, the collegiate basketball team is richer than the combined African leagues. So if you do the collegiate sports very well, it will actually become a major money spinner. If we truly look at the fact that the youths are the biggest in population in this country, people will start buying into it. I'm happy TV is there. Production is going to get cheaper very soon, and I hope university will be able to have some basics and be able to send their highlights to a future HiFL TV, which could be on broadband, where every student in Nigeria will be able to sign in, even if it's with 1,000 naira, and follow their students, follow the new generation of stars coming out of Nigeria. To me, and this new generation of stars are stars that are very intellectual, stars that will not lose all their money because of one error or one wrong contract or the other. So this is what I'm looking at. This is the future I'm looking at, and I hope we'll get there. But again, the government has to support this. It's not just a private initiative, but it's an initiative that is beyond, bigger than the proprietors, the organizers. I know a lot of people have tried to steal the idea, but it won't, because this is a good thing that has been done and somebody has invested. And we all as Nigerians, you guys as students, need to protect this brand. If they're not making money at this time, well, let's hope in the future they'll be able to make some money, but they have sacrificed. And this is the kind of beauty, the kind of stories tomorrow we want to tell. That some people started this initiative, did all they can do, and they grew it, and everybody's proud of it.
Okay, thank you very much, Zach. Some of our participants are already sending in questions, lots of questions already. And of course, some of these participants are actually sportsmen who have already heard a lot about you. And they're actually very excited to hear all of what you're saying. In fact, some of them are actually also interested in knowing how they can get your book, The Fingers Through a Goal Post, how they can purchase it or get it.
So you know what I'll do? It's not all about, it's of course, it's I sell it online on Amazon, but I'll send 50 copies to my friend in HiFL. They will try and share around some schools who are participating. I'll just send a couple for free so that guys can have it and read it, do a critique, and then challenge yourself to be able to write something. Because one day we'll all go, but those are the little stories we'll leave behind for the future generation to look at.
Okay, thank you very much. On behalf of the beneficiaries of those books, I want to say very big thank you to Mr. Felix Awogu for that privilege. I believe through the eyes of that book, a lot of people will look at sports differently. So you've actually made a lot of impact by far more than I think you actually know, because you always make time, you always create time to be able to offer service, to be able to share your experience. And that's changing a lot of lives and turning a lot of sports people who were about giving up on themselves, bringing them back to life and then putting them back on track again. And we're very excited to always have an opportunity to speak with you. We also know that apart from actually being somebody who gets your hands dirty, getting involved in trying to fix sports, you're also somebody who loves to sit back and watch good football. So we're sure you support, we're sure you're a supporter of football, and someone is really interested in knowing which football club Felix Awogu supports. I think he's planning to change his club somewhat, maybe support yours.
I support only one club. That's the Enyimba Football Club of Aba.
Wow. So what's so special about Enyimba, sir?
Well, they were the first Nigerian team that really made a difference in the continental football. Back to back, they won the CAF Champions League.
Of course.
They've dominated the league. And every time they qualify out of Nigeria, they are the only one that gets to the quarterfinal stages, saving the Nigerian slot. So they have been consistent in the last 15 years. And I don't know how they do it, but other team wins, and in the first round they are out. So that has been my catch, and I also like to support any product, but they have not managed their brand very well. I hope the HiFL team can assist them, because a team like Enyimba, two-time African champion, should actually be richer than the Nigerian Premier League as it is today. They are still the only Nigerian team in the continent. They're in the quarterfinal stage, playing the pyramids of Egypt. Yes. So to me, that's what else? What else do you need? That is the only team that is consistent, that pays an average of 500,000 naira a month to each of its players, and they've been consistent over the years. So I give them thumbs up. That's why I support them.
Okay. So I also want you to take this question. It's coming from somebody from the University of Uyo.
Okay.
The person is actually also a sports journalist, and this is the question the person is putting forward. It says, "What would happen to studying medicine if what will happen to participating in sports rather if students who study courses like medicine and engineering don't have time and are not encouraged by their lecturers to spend the little time they have on sports?" Because medicine students and engineering students are also interested in getting involved in sports, but with the nature of the way their courses are, they are worried that with all of this encouragement and all, they might not be able to do well.
I think we're all getting it wrong, because to be honest, you did only 3 hours of study a day for 10 years to produce the biggest geniuses in the world. The way we've run our educational system has not been fundamentally correct. You don't need all the time cramming books, because you can go into your system and get those information you need. So I think the whole idea of engineering, medicine, law, and all that, the universal system, is not working out well for a balanced Nigerian person. And it's a problem. The truth is this: the whole cadaver, that's the human body when it is delivered to you. You don't need 7 years to study the cadaver. And to be honest, why do you have to study the same thing and cramming it and cramming? The world has gone beyond the current system, beyond the way medicine is currently taught around the world. The computer can sit down and analyze and make it so easy for you. But we're still going back to cram, to draw funny looking things, which you don't need. So we need to do an overhaul. Look at our educational system. How do we get it better? What's the way the world is thinking? If we analyze it, I'm not sure we need all those years we're wasting doing repetitions and cramming what my father and grandfather read. No. I think it has to be a holistic approach. Look at the educational system. Break it down. Before now, there was no computers. There was no Alexia, where you can ask any question and it gives you the answers immediately. Who can sit down and do a proper diagnosis of anything for you and make life easier. So we need to come down now to application and ability to use our heads properly, and also to be physically and healthy. We need to participate in sports. So currently, educational system is almost zero. It has not changed from the way my father read it some 50, 60 years ago, the way I read it, and the way my children currently are reading it. So we need to really sit back and fix it.
Okay, so I guess that's some bit of hope for our medical students and some other people who feel.
No, it doesn't give them hope because they don't have control. Maybe HiFL should take it to the NUC. They need to debrief. They need to sit down and break down the courses. What you guys are reading now will not give you jobs in future. Very soon, analysis, surgeries are done by robots. So what should you be reading? Is it cramming or whatever? I don't know. Because I get people with first class who come to work for me, and I sit down, they don't understand what the realities of life. So they're not getting it. You have people who drop out of university, but they are more fuller. They understand life better. So who will I employ? Somebody who will add value to me. So we need to sit down, break down our university curricula and say, hey, are we really studying what is useful to the global future? Or are we still going back to the otherwise, if God wanted us to start looking back, we probably would have put one eye at the back. Because currently our university system is looking backwards. It's not forward looking. And we need to sit down, restructure our curricula and make it better. It's not just Nigeria. I think it's a global thing.
Oh, okay, exciting, sir. So you actually keep referring to HiFL as a pillar of support. Is you support the government, you take this to the NUC and all. I believe this is a brand you believe in, and you don't just believe in it because it's a brand that has actually identified with you, but it's because of your deep understanding of what sports should be and the fact that it should be built around the structure. So you feel that this brand can actually be able to influence a lot. So we know that we're not there yet. We're actually still doing a lot to ensure that sports gets to where it needs to be as far as collegiate level is concerned, Nigerian universities, and probably at some other higher level in the future. But what can you say to the HiFL team in terms of what you think, areas you think they can actually be able to do better so they can be able to bring that dream home faster?
Well, it's a tough call because if you look at it, a lot of money is involved.
Yes.
I know they've been struggling, looking for sponsorship, doing this and doing that. It's not easy, to be honest. But I want to see a HiFL TV come up very soon, independent of any TV station in this country, which every Nigerian student will want to sign up and watch, which every parent will want to sign up and watch. Because the negative vibe, the negative stories coming out of every nook and corner of Nigeria is about the youth not being the ideal youth. But I disagree. I felt that make all that happen. That can change. And I felt I want them to invest. Help them. It's not just about football. It's to have a who can think straight. If you don't do sports, I don't believe you can think straight. And part of my requirement, if I'm going to hire you, is what sports do you do? Do you play tennis? Do you swim? If you're telling me you are a bookworm, I don't want a bookworm because a bookworm is my computer. I have all the knowledge I want. I don't need a robot who cannot deal with other human beings. So playing sports gives you an opportunity to interface and it makes you a better person. And those are the kind of leaders I want in my organization. Not ethical, as you call them in the university those days. I want somebody who is bigger than just those books. Somebody who can interface with other human beings. Somebody who I can trust in leadership positions. These are the new generation I want, and I think HiFL will help bring those qualities. Because currently, it's very hard to employ a Nigerian graduate.
That's very true, sir. That's very true. And I think we're taking all of your thoughts on that and we'll work on it. The HiFL TV, it's something we're already very interested in because most of the content we generate, most of the times we actually try to put it on some of our platforms to actually make it visible. So on YouTube, we actually have something close to that. But of course, we want it to get to a point where the league is actually able to create visibility for itself, independent of having to get support from other media platforms for such visibility, except it's going to be complementary, just like the English Premier League and the La Liga and all. And I think that with support with experienced hands like you who know all that's involved as far as visibility of sports is concerned, I'm sure we're going to be able to get there. So we actually also have another thought from your own university. I believe they are excited to ask this because they know that the person was actually from Ife. The name of the person I have here is Dotun Omisaki from the OAU in Ife. And she's interested in knowing how we can be able to market collegiate sports across Nigerian universities. She wants to actually live and see a day when university students would actually be proud to wear UAM Tilas, wear OAU Giants jerseys on campus instead of Real Madrid and Chelsea jerseys. She actually is worried that the Nigerian Professional Football League is not well marketed, and so that's why Nigerian youth are not interested in it. And so now bringing collegiate sports, how can we be able to look at that challenge and surmount it so we're able to make collegiate sports very marketable?
Well, it's you are doing the right thing. It's about sitting down, working gradually, building a branch, and by the time you build it, people identify with it, and if they make money, people are beginning to make money. Like I keep telling people, if you bake a small cake, don't just eat it. Bake a big cake. When you start eating, nobody will notice. It will grow. It will be big enough for everybody. The collegiate sport is a great future. It's done well in America. It's done well with our population. It should do well. I want to come, if FIFA is participating, I want to come as an old student to come and see, as an alumni, to see what they are doing, what is really happening. There's nothing exciting. There's nothing coming out apart from the football tournaments that they play. Have inter-hall competition. Does Fajui still play Awoho? Does Moremi play Mozart? Those are some of the things I really want to see. You know, if we start to build up this thing and it is growing and there's interest, then the sponsors will come. I'm sure even the local industry in Ife will want to participate and say, okay, yeah, let's do this. Let's support this and do that. Well, it's a gradual process. Sports almost died in Nigeria. The league was a very big, I'm sure you know Shegwa Degbami played in Nigerian league. Emmanuel Lokala played in Nigerian league. Kanwanko started with the Nigerian league. Okocha started with the Nigerian league. But we need to harness it. Football is the biggest sport. If the league and the Nigerian Football Federation doesn't do well, it impacts negatively. If the total value of the NPFL is only 10 million naira, why would I give 10 million to a collegiate sport? So that's the problem. They need to package it and forget the fact that it's not all about the quick cash. Do the right thing, sow the right seed, and then, of course, the big money will come.
And so I'm sure you're looking forward to seeing one of the Nigerian university teams play one day in the Premier League, probably the Nigerian Premier League, with this structure you're talking about. And then, of course,
my problem is not about them playing. It's about the safety. To be honest, if I'm going to take you to go and watch, or your family wants to go and watch a match, you don't want to go because you are scared of the toilet. They are basic things, the egress. How do I come out if there is crisis? They are basic things. The middle class are dying of what to do in Nigeria. They don't have where to go. That's why all of us are having pot belly, because we're drinking too much. We want to go out there with our friends, sit back and watch good matches, make comments with our families. Well, if we don't get the structures right, we don't clean up our facility, we don't provide proper security, it's tough. So these are some of the fundamental things we need to do. And if we do that, believe me, the money will come.
Okay, so looking at it from a continental level, apart from Nigeria, we know that you have interacted with sports at various levels. Collegiate football, where is it in Africa, and which country of reference can you actually link to us learning a few things from to succeed?
To be honest, collegiate football hasn't done well in Africa, but South Africa is picking up. I hear Egypt is picking up, and I hear Ghana, no, they're not, because I've actually checked what is really happening. South Africa has a few investments coming in, and they have their university have good facilities. They don't have as much university as Nigeria, but I think there should be conditions of setting up and giving licenses to university. Sports facilities should be part of it. So, and one university called me, with Veritas, I think they're in Abuja, they needed looking for somebody to help them set up a playground. I said, okay, that's good. At least HiFL is impacting universities thinking of playground now in Nigeria. So it's a gradual thing, and it's not something that happens overnight. But when it picks up and it is properly done, believe me, the money will flow. Money finds where they have good benefits. I can't give you money if I don't have any benefit. Why am I giving you money? I'm not a charity. I'm a business. But if I know my content is going to drive followership, why not? And the students are the followers and they have this money, why not? So that's how it's going to be. So let's hope that the system realizes it and supports the structure, because this is a good way to communicate to millions of Nigerians in higher institutions.
Okay, that's actually very thoughtful and deep too. And so the students who are not going to be able to access your book through the copies you're actually going to give are still interested in actually having to buy them by themselves off Amazon and other platforms. And beyond the students, we also have coaches who have joined the masterclass series, and they're also very interested because they feel that material is going to be very useful to them. So I don't know if you could be able to say something more, particularly with how much the book costs and how they can be able to get it.
currently on Amazon is going for $14.
Okay.
It's going for $14. If you just go online, you'll probably find it. It's also on Kindle, so you can actually have it as an e-copy. That's cheaper. It's about $10.
Okay. So, and I don't know if you've taken time to actually read the review about your book from the current chief executive officer of MultiChoice. I don't know if you've listened to the review he made about your book.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
He made a very interesting review that the life of every human being is actually a sport, because at the point of formation of the human beings, a lot of cells go into competition. It's a sprint and only one cell wins. And at the point of getting a child birthed, there are a lot of challenges to surmount in life. So, so he was able to relate it effectively with the way you capture the challenges within the Nigerian sports system and all. And I think very, very excitingly, I don't think there are actually many sports journalists or reporters or people who have actually been in the media space who have actually paid as much attention as you have. And I'm actually worried knowing that, of course, there's going to be a transition eventually. And, where the younger people who are coming behind you, we need to actually get an opportunity to also be raised to begin to follow the steps that you're actually following. Many Nigerian university students would not have had the opportunity to listen to you today, if not for the platform that HiFL has created through the Master Series. But because, of course, you can't be everywhere and all. But, of course, I would want to share those thoughts because I believe those thoughts are the thoughts of Nigerian youth, that more veterans, both those who are sports enthusiasts and those who are non-sports enthusiasts, have to now come out to be able to do what you're doing. And we believe that some of them are really close to you, some of them are part of your circles at every level. Also, we will be interested and very excited if you're able to encourage them to come out at their own levels to be able to ensure that they impact the young people who they have access to, so that we can send this message around as fast as possible. And of course, we want you to be able to come on this platform again to say that, yes, we were 10 or 20% yesterday as far as collegiate football and football generally was in Nigeria or in Africa. But today, you're happy to say that you live to see us at 50 or 60%, and we can actually still go forward. So I think that those are some of the things that we'll be looking forward to seeing moving forward.
All right. Thank you very much. I hope so. And I hope you guys will also appreciate that HiFL is sowing a seed. And when you sow a seed, it has to germinate, it has to become a tree, it will wither, and that tree will bring fruits, and more will grow. So if you take it in a positive light, he's going to do his own bit. But you, the product of a system, should sow the seed and grow it. Let it become something that is bigger. Let it become a movement. What HiFL is doing. Let every Nigerian university, anybody coming into as Jamvite into a university, be looking forward to participating in sports. And to me, that's the future, and that's what it should be.
Yes, of course. Yes, of course, sir. Today we have HiFL, but we're hoping that very soon we're going to actually move into HiSL, which would actually encompass other sports. So we're going to have volleyball, we're going to have basketball, we're going to have athletics and a lot of other sports. And so it's going to actually cover a wider range, and then of course achieve some of the other objectives that we're looking at, which is bridging the gap between inequality, creating more opportunities for young Nigerians, both home and in diaspora, and of course at various other levels. And in all of this journey that we're setting, and we're sure that we're going to always be falling back on the experience of very kind-hearted veterans like you to support, because we believe the experience you have gained is experience that you're willing to share, and so we're always going to be relying on that. And so just to take your closing thoughts on the show, I would want you to say something about the partnership between HiFL and SuperSports. For 2 seasons, SuperSports helped put the league at the center for the rest of the world to see. In fact, the finals of the Highest Chance Football League in 2018 and in 2019 was watched globally. We had people who watched in the UK, we have people who watched in different parts of the world, and that was because of the partnership. And we want you to say something about that. Of course, we are looking forward to a longer partnership, and then your closing statements on the show.
No, though, to be honest, it's a win-win. It's a win-win situation. It's a win-win situation. We are very happy. We are honored to be part of HiFL. If you look at it, the Nigerian situation has become toxic over the years, and somebody is here to detoxify it, and that's HiFL. The students have been embodied and stayed in one condition. Nothing is happening. You go to school, you come out, nothing. You learn nothing new. You're now making friends across borders. So to us, it's a great product. And it's just that the economy has been crazy. But I believe in future, we should do a more holistic approach. Let it be a partnership. It's not just about putting it out there for people to see. How do we build it? How do we grow it together? How do we make it a household thing? Where would the university that wins it next year, why will the most Nigerian youths not want to go to such university? So there must be an advantage, so they can keep investing in the healthcare of their students, in the nutrition of their students, and every other student learning on how to, because it's a good platform. I want to see a team coming from your school, and the whole bench are students of your school, the medical team, the physio, the psychologist, and before you know it, other teams, other clubs will learn. I want the Nigerian Premier League to learn from the school system on how to do the right thing. Because one thing you don't understand about television is, if you don't dress properly, it's bad for television. And in HiFL, the team are properly dressed. They look neat and clean. And that's what attracts the viewers. So if you can't attract the viewers, somebody's wearing a green socks and a white one, the other one is wearing white. It's so horrible for television.
Yeah, of course.
One thing HiFL has done right is branding, brand positioning. It's a gradual thing. We'll get there with time. Okay. And I will encourage everybody, all Nigerian youths, to stay focused, do your sports, and realize that today's educational system does not work for your future and your future employment. Study, good, have the certificate, because we still have the wrong mentality. The certificate is everything. But take other leads, get the experience in sports. You never know where to take you tomorrow.
Okay, thank you so very much.
My pleasure.
We've had Mr. Felix Awogu on the Masterclass series for the High Institutions Football League, and we're very excited. It has been a very impactful and engaging 1 hour with you on the show. So we're very excited for you to have done us this honor to speak to us today. We're going to be actually having other Masterclass series subsequently, and those who were not able to register for this series can actually register using our handles on www.hiflng.com/masterclasses, and you'll be able to be updated on all of the Masterclass series we're going to be having. It's been exciting to speak with you, sir. Have a nice day ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All the best.
Who participated on this show. We're really, really happy to have you. Thank you very much.